Hello everyone, this is a YouTube video for our second assessment of machine learning. Here we were told to make a fully functioning machine model that based on a problem. I've chosen a classifying model that is an animal identifier, which uses an animal image dataset with over 5,000 images. The model helps to identify an animal based on an image that is given to it. Now here we can see that in our first cell we are setting up our environment. We are installing radio for the user interface and the PyTorch, which is going to do most of our heavy lifting. Now closer to the second cell here, this is where we prepare our images. As you can see, computers don't see the animals, they see the arrays of numbers. So we resize everything to be 224 by 224 pixels and normalize the colors. Think of this as sort of helping the AI make it see better. Now here is the pre-trained model. This is pretty much the brain. Now we're using ResNet 50. This model has already looked at over 1,000,000 images. Instead of having to teach it from scratch, which would have taken us weeks of testing and training, we freeze the parts of that already knows how to recognize shapes and colors. Now then we've replaced the very last layer, the output layer, and tell it to focus on our animal classes of the 90 specific animal classes. Now closer to our fourth cell here, this is where we train the classifier. We start the training. This is essentially a way to make the model more and more accurate. The model looks at an image, then it makes a guess, and we use an optimizer to tell it how wrong it was to make it better, so then the model adjusts the internal weights to get closer to the truth next time. Because we are using a pre-trained model, we only need a couple of laps, or an epochs in this case, to get better results. Next up here we have the final Gradio interface. Here you can see that the model is going to show into a full-on real working app where you can upload an image. Now we can test it here. Now if we give it, let's say, an image like this, you let it load, and you submit it, and it's going to give you three approximate guesses, with the one being the most reliant. Now this is an elephant at 38%, but it also gives rhinoceros and zebra depending on because of the color and the size and shapes of the skin and stuff. We can also test one more image here. Let's say here we give it a zebra in this case, and we submit it, and it's a 33% zebra, and then Occupy, which is a zebra-like creature, and it gave us tiger because of the stripes. Now if we scroll more down, we can get to the accuracy section. Here we have to test that we have to prove that the model is actually working. So we can see here in the confusion matrix that will showcase it better. We look at this heat map in the confusion matrix. A pretty perfect model has a dark diagonal line. So if you see any dark spots anywhere else on the graph, it means the model is getting confused. Say for like mistaking certain wildcats like a leopard and a jaguar, or a lion and a puma, for different things. This is how we make sure that the data model needs more work depending on where the dark spots are. Now that's it for our machine learning model. Hope you enjoyed watching, and this has been Assessment 2 Machine Learning Model for Year 3 Creative Computing. Thank you for watching.